Most people think illegal things look obvious. They imagine danger, something extreme, something that instantly feels wrong. But in 1950s US, illegality didn't always look like that. Sometimes it looked like breakfast, simple meals, quiet kitchens, normal families, doing something they had always done. Except now, they weren't supposed to. And that's where this story begins, because these weren't criminals. They were ordinary people, eating food that just happened to fall on the wrong side of the rules. And once you understand that, everything starts to feel different, because these meals didn't feel illegal. They felt necessary. 1. Raw milk porridge. It starts with something incredibly simple. Milk and grain. A warm bowl in the morning. Comforting, filling, normal. But in the 1950s, raw milk quietly became a problem. Unprocessed milk, straight from farms, had been a part of daily life for generations. People trusted it. But regulations changed. Pasteurization became the standard. Raw milk was restricted. And suddenly, something that had always been normal wasn't anymore. But here's the reality. For many families, especially outside cities, there was no alternative, so they didn't stop. They still made porridge the same way. Still poured that fresh milk into their food. Still ate it every morning. Except now, it existed in silence. Not talked about. Not questioned. Just quietly continued. To home-cured salt pork. This wasn't just food. This was survival. Salt pork was a staple. It lasted long. It was reliable. It could be used in multiple meals. Families knew exactly how to prepare it. But as food systems became regulated, home processing started to fall into a gray zone. Commercial standards were introduced. Inspection became important. And suddenly, doing it yourself wasn't always allowed. But people didn't stop, because stopping meant losing control over their own food. So they kept curing meat at home, kept using the same methods, kept making the same recipes. Only now it wasn't something you openly discussed. It was just something you did. 3. Off-season wild game stew. Hunting wasn't just tradition, it was necessity. But rules existed. Seasons, limits, permissions. And if you stepped outside those boundaries, you crossed a line. But here's the thing. Hunger doesn't follow seasons. Survival doesn't wait for permission. So people hunted when they needed to. And the result? Simple stews made from wild game. Warm, filling, essential. Nothing about them looked illegal, but technically they were. And yet, they were still eaten, still shared, still relied on, because when it comes down to it, people choose survival over rules. 4. Unregulated maple syrup ferments. Maple syrup feels harmless, sweet, natural. But the process behind it wasn't always so simple. Small-scale production, especially outside regulated systems, became harder to control. Fermented variations, experimental uses, homemade processes, they didn't always fit within official guidelines. But people didn't see it that way. They saw it as resourcefulness, using what they had, creating something valuable. 5. Backyard slaughtered meat meals. This one sits in a strange space because it wasn't unusual, it wasn't rare, but it was becoming restricted. Raising animals and preparing meat at home had always been part of life for many families. But regulations began shifting towards centralized processing, inspection, control, standardization, and slowly, home slaughter moved into a gray area. But again, people didn't stop, because this wasn't just food, it was independence. 6. Raw fish preservation meals. In colder regions, fish wasn't just a choice, it was essential, and preserving it meant survival. Drying, salting, even light fermentation. Methods passed down over generations. But as food laws evolved, some of these practices became restricted. Not because they didn't work, but because they were difficult to regulate. And once something becomes difficult to regulate, it becomes easier to control by limiting it. 7. Bootleg alcohol-infused foods. Alcohol had a complicated history. Restrictions didn't disappear overnight. In some areas, access was still limited, so people found ways, not just to drink it, but to use it in cooking. Foods infused with homemade or unregulated alcohol became part of this quiet culture, not obvious, not discussed, but present. 8. Unlicensed dairy cheese recipes. Cheesemaking is an art, but it's also a process that requires control. And in the 1950s, dairy regulations became stricter. Unlicensed production started to fall into questionable territory. But small communities didn't suddenly lose their knowledge. They didn't forget how to make cheese, so they continued, using raw milk, using traditional methods, creating something familiar. But now it stayed within trust. 9. Wild berry fermentation dishes. Berries were everywhere, accessible, natural, free. But fermentation added complexity. It turned something simple into something controlled. And depending on how it was done, it could cross into restricted territory. But again, people didn't stop. They used berries the way they always had. created preserves, adapted 10, smoked game, jerky. Preservation meant survival, and jerky was one of the most effective ways to store meat, especially from wild game. But when hunting regulations tightened, even preserved forms of that meat became questionable, yet people still made it, still carried it, still depended on it, because when food is needed, rules don't matter. None of these meals looked illegal, none of them felt wrong. They were simple, practical, necessary, but they existed in a space where life and law didn't fully align, and when that happens, people don't stop living. They adapt, they adjust, they continue, quietly, and that's what makes these recipes so different. They weren't created to break rules, they were created to survive within them. They were always there, just beneath the surface. Because now, the pattern becomes clearer. These weren't just small exceptions. This wasn't just a few families doing things differently. This was widespread, a hidden layer of everyday life where people followed their own rules, because the official ones didn't always make sense for them. And the deeper you go, the more you realize something unsettling. These meals weren't rare, they were normal, just not officially allowed. 11. Unregulated butter churning. Butter feels harmless, soft, simple, something you spread without thinking. But in the 1950s, even butter could fall into a controlled category. Dairy regulations weren't just about milk, they extended to products made from it, and that meant small-scale home-churned butter didn't always fit into the system. But families didn't suddenly forget how to make butter. They didn't stop using fresh cream, they didn't stop churning, because this wasn't just about taste, it was about control over what they consumed. So they continued, quietly. Butter made at home, used daily, never questioned inside the house, but never openly discussed outside it. 12. Illegally trapped game breakfasts. Trapping was efficient. It didn't require constant effort like hunting. It worked in the background, but like everything else, it came with rules, permits, seasons, restrictions, and when those rules tightened, trapping outside them became a problem. But here's what didn't change: the need for food. So small animals caught outside legal conditions still made their way into kitchens, cooked into simple breakfasts. Nothing fancy, nothing suspicious, but technically not allowed, and yet completely relied on. 13. Homemade lard-based meals. Lard was everywhere, used for cooking, for frying, and for adding richness to otherwise simple meals. It was practical, accessible, essential. But as food production shifted, processed alternatives began to replace traditional fats, and regulations around processing and sale made homemade versions less acceptable in formal systems. But people didn't switch overnight. They kept rendering fat, kept using it in recipes because it worked, because it lasted, because it was what they knew. And slowly, something so basic became something unspoken. 14. Unlicensed grain milling recipes. Flour seemed simple, but getting it wasn't always. Many communities relied on small, local milling, sometimes even home-ground grains. But as production centralized, control increased, standardized, flour replaced local variations, and unlicensed milling began to fall outside official systems. But again, reality didn't follow instantly. People still ground grains, still used what they had, still made bread, porridge, and other staples the way they always had. Because for them, it wasn't about regulation, it was about access. 15. Backyard egg trade meals. Eggs were common, but selling or distributing them wasn't always straightforward. Regulations around food safety and trade began to affect even small exchanges, and suddenly, something as simple as trading eggs between neighbors could become questionable. But people didn't stop, because communities rely on each other. So eggs continued to move, quietly, from one home to another, and meals made from them carried that same quiet reality. Normal on the plate, different behind the scenes. 16. Wild mushroom dishes. Mushrooms are unpredictable. Some are safe, some are not, and because of that, they became a point of concern in regulated systems. Foraging itself wasn't always controlled, but selling or distributing wild mushrooms could be. Still, people who knew what they were doing didn't stop. Knowledge passed down through generations didn't disappear. They continued foraging, continued cooking, continued eating, because for them it wasn't dangerous, it was familiar. But that familiarity didn't always match official guidelines. 17. Home distilled syrup blends. Sweetness was valuable, and maple syrup wasn't the only option. People experimented, mixed, created blends, sometimes through methods that weren't officially recognized or approved. And once again, small-scale production fell into a gray zone. But these weren't large operations. They were quiet household-level practices, invisible to the system, but very real to the people using them. 18. Unregulated fish smoking recipes. Smoking fish was one of the oldest preservation methods. It worked, it lasted, it was efficient. But like other preservation techniques, it became harder to regulate, especially when done outside commercial systems. And that's where it shifted. From normal practice to something that didn't quite fit anymore. But people didn't stop. They kept smoking fish, kept storing it, kept eating it, because without it, survival became harder. 19 Black market sugar desserts. Sugar was controlled at times, restricted, monitored, especially during and after periods of shortage. And when something is limited, a market forms. Quiet, hidden but effective. Sugar found its way into homes through unofficial channels, and once it did, it became part of meals again. Simple desserts, sweet additions, nothing extravagant, but each one carried a story, a path it wasn't supposed to take. 20 Hidden alcohol baking recipes. Alcohol didn't disappear after Prohibition, it just changed form. And in many places, access remained limited, so people adapted. They used it in cooking, in baking, in ways that were less visible. Cakes, breads, simple recipes that carried something extra. Not obvious, not detectable at first glance, but present, because when something is restricted, people don't always stop using it, they just change how they use it. And now, the pattern is impossible to ignore. This wasn't about breaking rules. It was about living in a system where rules didn't always match reality. Every single one of these meals tells the same story, a quiet decision, a small adjustment, a way of continuing without drawing attention. And that's what makes this different. There was no rebellion, no loud resistance, just consistency, just survival, just people doing what they had to do. And over time, that quiet behavior created something powerful, a hidden layer of food culture, one that existed everywhere but was rarely seen, because the more normal something feels, the easier it is to hide, and the harder it is to erase. And as we go deeper, things become even more blurred, because now, it's not just about what was eaten, it's about how far people were willing to go to keep eating it. And that's where it starts to get even more interesting. By now, one thing is clear. This wasn't accidental. This wasn't rare. This was a pattern. A quiet system running parallel to the official one, where people followed rules when they could, and ignored them when they had to. Because at the end of the day, survival doesn't negotiate, it adapts, and the deeper you go, the more uncomfortable it gets. Because now, these aren't just simple meals. These are decisions, choices people made knowing there was a line, and choosing to step over it anyway. 21 Off-record hunting stews. Hunting wasn't just controlled by seasons, it was tracked, counted, regulated. But when food was needed, records didn't matter. People hunted without reporting, cooked without mentioning. 22 Unregistered dairy cream dishes. Cream was valuable, but inside homes, none of that mattered. People still separated cream and relied on it because rules might control systems, but they don't always control habits, and habits are hard to break. 23 Backyard smoked poultry. Families prepared birds the way they always had, smoked them, stored them because it worked and it was efficient. 24 Unlicensed jam and preserve sales. Small exchanges between neighbors became questionable, but communities don't stop functioning because of paperwork. Jars continued to move, meals continued to include them, and everything looked exactly the same, except for what was happening behind it. 25 Wild bird egg dishes. Eggs weren't always from farms. People still collected, still cooked, quietly, without attention. 26 Unregulated flour substitutes. Flour shortages pushed people to adapt. They ground what they could find. Food isn't about perfection, it's about function. 27 Hidden salt trade meals. Salt was essential for survival. When it becomes restricted, people find ways around it. Salt moved quietly. 28 Unofficial fish trade dishes. Fishing wasn't always simple. Fish that didn't pass through official systems still ended up on plates. 29 Homemade fermented grain meals. Fermentation transforms food. People used simple methods that had always worked, even if they became less visible. 30 Hidden community shared meals. This is about a system, communities pooling resources. Shared meals existed quietly, regularly. Now everything is clear. This wasn't just about food. It was about control versus reality. Reality found a way. The less visible something is, the harder it is to control. People didn't fight the system. They lived around it. Once regulation replaced habit, these meals didn't just become illegal, they became forgotten. And that might be the most surprising part of all. By now, the pattern is undeniable. These weren't just meals, they were decisions. Quiet, everyday decisions people made without thinking of themselves as rule breakers, even when technically they were. Because when something becomes part of your life, you don't question it, you continue it, and that's exactly what happened. But here's where everything shifts. Because nothing like this lasts forever. At some point, systems catch up, rules tighten, convenience replaces effort, and slowly the need for these choices begins to disappear. But before that happened, there was one final phase. The phase where everything still existed but was already starting to fade. 31 late-night hidden cooking practices. Not all meals were made openly. Some were prepared late, quietly when attention was low. Not because people were afraid in an obvious way, but because they understood boundaries. Cooking at certain times, keeping things discreet, avoiding unnecessary visibility. It became part of the habit. Meals didn't change, but the way they were made did. Subtle shifts, small adjustments, just enough to stay unnoticed. 32 disguised ingredient substitutions. Sometimes it wasn't about what you cooked, it was about how you described it. Ingredients were swapped, renamed, presented differently. A meal that looked standard on the surface could carry elements that weren't officially allowed, but unless you knew, you wouldn't notice. And that's what made it effective, because visibility is what creates control. And once something blends in, it becomes almost impossible to detect. 33 quiet preservation techniques. By this point, preservation itself had changed, not the methods but the way they were practiced. Less obvious, less visible, done in ways that didn't draw attention. The same techniques still existed, the same results, the same meals, but now they were part of a quieter system. One that didn't announce itself. 34 restricted ingredient stretching meals. When resources were limited or controlled, people adapted. They stretched ingredients, combined things creatively, made small amounts last longer. And sometimes, that meant using items in ways that didn't fully align with regulations. But again, necessity came first. A meal that feeds a family matters more than whether it fits a rule perfectly. 35 final generation hidden recipes. This is where it becomes almost invisible. The last generation that truly lived this way. The last group that learned these habits not from books but from watching, from doing, from repeating. They didn't think of these meals as special. They didn't label them as illegal. They didn't separate them from normal life, because to them this was normal life. But then something changed. Not suddenly, not dramatically, but steadily. Food became easier to access. Systems became stronger. Convenience replaced effort, and the need for these hidden practices began to disappear. Slowly people stopped, not all at once, not intentionally, just gradually, one recipe at a time, one habit at a time, until eventually they were gone. And this is where the story really ends. Not with a dramatic moment, not with enforcement, not with resistance, but with silence. Because these meals didn't vanish because they were stopped, they vanished because they were no longer needed. And that's what makes this entire story so different. Nothing here was built to last forever. It was built to work in a specific moment, a specific environment, a specific reality. And once that reality changed, everything built around it changed too. But here's the part most people don't think about. Just because something disappears doesn't mean it was unimportant. In fact, it often means the opposite. These meals existed because they had to, because they solved problems, because they filled gaps, because they helped people live when systems didn't fully support them. They were practical, efficient, necessary, and in many ways invisible. Because the most powerful systems are the ones you don't notice. The ones that operate quietly in the background of everyday life. And that's exactly what this was. A hidden system of food. Built not on rebellion but on adaptation. Not on breaking rules but on surviving around them. And once you see it that way, everything changes. Because this isn't just about the past. It's about understanding how people behave when systems don't fully match reality. They don't stop. They don't collapse. They adjust. They create their own ways. They find balance between what's allowed and what's needed. And that pattern doesn't just exist in food. It exists everywhere. Every time there's a gap between rules and real life, something like this forms, quietly, naturally, without attention, and sometimes without ever being remembered. So the next time you sit down to eat something that feels completely normal, think about it for a second. Because at some point in history there's a chance that something just as normal, just as simple, just as ordinary wasn't allowed. And yet people ate it anyway. Not because they wanted to break the rules, but because they had no other choice. And that's the part that stays with you. Because it reminds you that behind every simple thing there's a story. And sometimes those stories are hidden in the most unexpected places. Even something as ordinary as food.